What's up, guys? Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you are going to enjoy it. Today I'm going to be taking a spin in what, in my opinion, is the best FPV long range drone. No, it's not this guy. This is my AOS 7. It is a pretty good flyer, by the way. I need to make a video about it. But what we're going to be flying today is actually this guy. That is the Mavic Classic 3. Yes, it is a camera drone from DJI, but as of the last couple months, DJI has released a firmware that allow you to fly your Mavic, some of the camera drone with the Goggle 2 or the Goggle Integra. I believe it's all of the Mavic 3 series drone, the Mini 3, and I think those are the only one you can use with the Mavic series of drone. Sorry guys, it's a little windy and I'm using my GoPro for this, so hopefully the sun is not gonna be too bad. Guys, before we take off, I want to go to a couple things that I found kind of surprising about the Mavic 3 Classic. And I'm pretty sure at this point everybody's seen picture of the Mavic 3 Classic, but it is kind of different when you actually order one. First of all, compared to a AOS 7, it is a much bigger drone. I would say the size of the Mavic 3 compared to, you know, our sizing when it comes to drones, I would say this is going to be more likely like a 9 or a 10-inch drone. Then of course, made out of plastic, is not as durable than your regular 7-inch drone, made out of carbon fiber. Another surprising thing to me are the size of those motors. Estimated size of those motors has to be maybe a 2208 or a 2307. And of course, if you build your drone, if you know anything about 7-inch, in a hobby we like to use bigger motor for a 7-inch. So that's just a comparison of my AOS 7 motor compared to the Mavic 3 Classic. And by the way, this is a 31mm motors for FPV cycle, pretty good motor. But you can see it is a much smaller motor on the Mavic Classic 3. And as far as controller goes, DJI wants you to use the motion controller too. It works pretty good with the Mavic when you're flying it. The only negative thing I have to say about this is that just holding it like this when you're flying, eventually your arm kind of get a little bit tired. That is the only problem I have with this controller, but except for that, it worked pretty good. You know, you can also use the regular remote, even though DJI doesn't really recommend you using this remote. And there is a way to bypass the, I'll say, safety measure to make sure that you use your controller too. But when you're using this remote and you do the little bypass thing, you're gonna get a little message on the screen that lets you know that this is not the right controller. And of course, being a DJI product, DJI has been going pretty hard as far as remote ID goes. So I'm gonna need to plug in my phone to my Goggle 2 in order to fly the drone. There is also a way to bypass that. I've seen some people post a video about it on the Avada, how you can bypass the remote ID. But same with the regular controller, you're gonna get a little message on the screen that lets you know that some remote ID error. Now folks, so I have everything bound and ready to go. You can see the screen. I say one of the good things about this remote ID cap is that if you got someone flying with you or someone next to you, they're actually able to see what you're seeing in your goggles when you're flying. For right now, we got like 13 satellites, so I think we are good to go. All right guys, so here we are, taking a little spin on the Mavic 3 Classic in FPV mode. And you can see the drone kind of stuttering, and the reason for that is simply because I have it on normal mode. And you can see all the sensor. Like when I get close to this tree, that's one of the sensors showing me that I'm about to run into something. And I have it set up to where if I run into about to crash or anything, the drone should stop on its own. But what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna take it out of normal mode and we're gonna go into sport mode, and this actually just deactivate most of the sensor. Now I started the video by saying that this is the best long range FPV drone you can have, and the reason I'm saying that is, first of all, the flight time on this guy is ridiculous. I had it for a couple months now. I've been giving it a couple try, and I only have one batteries. I think it's for as 5,000 milliamp hours batteries, and I get 40 minutes as far as flight time goes. Another thing I can do with this guy, let's see, I'm gonna stop it here. I mean, position hold on this guy, it's ridiculous. It's almost like you are posing the picture. And one thing you cannot do with your regular drone is you do have a gimbal, so you can change your perspective or what you're looking at. Right now we're looking at this little boat. Not really a sunny day today, but as I was saying, flight time on this guy is ridiculous. I do have multiple 7-inch, and it does not matter what kind of combination I do on my batteries. I do not get anything close to that. The only thing that beat the look at that, pretty busy day today. The only thing that beats this drone, I would say, is one of my airplane that get much longer flight time. And of course, being DJI, the range on this guy is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not gonna say how far I took it, but I can tell you that the range on this guy is pretty good. And since the range is good and the flight time is good, that really make it the perfect drone to do long range with, perfect drone to do exploration with. Like I say, you and I have the gimbals. Let's see here. Gonna go down, or we can go back up. I mean, you cannot get this kind of shots with a regular 7-inch drone, and the camera is actually pretty good. Now right now I have it set up to 1080p 60. When you're doing on an FPV mode, you can only do it at 1080p or 4K. There is no 5K when you're doing FPV mode. And I would say that may be one of the little annoying thing about this setup, because when you go in FPV mode, the Mavic 3 has a lot of feature, but in FPV mode you pretty much lose all those features. One of them, like you can zoom in when you're using the regular controller, but when you do FPV mode there is no way for you to zoom in. I don't know if something DJI will be able to change in upcoming firmware. It is a little windy today. It's not really affected by the wind. I can do like a little panoramic view of East Tennessee. It's not really affected by the wind, as I was saying. The only thing that kind of annoy me is that since I'm using the controller too, you can actually see that when my hand is shaking, the drone actually kind of shake also. So, but as I say, you can actually get to fly this with the regular controller. That gives you a little better control over the drone. I actually wish DJI did allow us to use the other controller. I forgot the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. That would be such a much better controller for this setup. But for us, for right now, they're not allowing us to use it. The only thing they want you to use is use the controller too. I think that's just a way for them to force us into buying the controller too. But let's see here. I'm flying over myself. I'm using my GoPro for recording sounds. So I don't know if you heard the drone going over my head, but the thing about this drone is that it's not as loud as all my other 7-inch drone. I don't know, because they got those soft tips on the blade. You think being a 9-10-inch drone, it should be making a lot more noise, but it actually does make less noise than all my other 7-inch drone. What the speed right now? 5 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour. I think that's what it is. So as far as speed goes, I think you can change your speed that you want to. There's an option that let you set up your speed limit. Now I have mine set up to pretty much going pretty slow, because the slower you go, the longer flight time you get. And I can't remember. I'll show you on the screen how you can go as far as speed setup goes. What is it? Is that a bird? I hope those are not. Don't you try to attack me now. Alright guys, let me come back here. I don't want my drone to drop in the water, so I'm gonna go over land in case those birds come back. At least at worst I can get stuck in a stupid tree. But as I was saying, it is something, if you're someone who's really interested into long range flights, I'll say think about getting this drone. It is an amazing drone for the price, and the price actually is a lot more expensive than any of the 7-inch you can buy abundant flights. I think those guys go to close to like $1,500 if you get it with the remote, and the Goggle 2 is going to be close to $2,000. But the main difference is, yeah, it's going to be close to $2,000. I don't know what I'm talking about. So most of our drone, abundant flight drone, they're like $700 to $600. But I got this one out of eBay, and let me put it back into normal mode. And the good thing about DJI, a lot of people buy DJI's drone and they fly for a couple days and they kind of lost interest. So if you're really looking for a good deal on a DJI drone, my best advice to you going to be go on eBay. Should be patient. For example, this drone, I got it on eBay for like $750, which is pretty much the price of a Camera 7. You know, as far as flight characteristic, I mean, for long range, it's perfect. Let's say kind of aggressive flying, I would say this is really not for you. It's not really that aggressive. I'll show you the little motor. I want to try to do some spot flight here. I'll show this little motor. For this big drone, you don't really get much torque with the small motor, so you can fly kind of fast, but whoop, so you see that, but don't expect to do like, I don't know, spin and stuff, because that's not going to work. But except for that, I mean, it is a good flying drone. I'll say, in my opinion, it is the best long range FPV drone that you can buy today. You just buy it out of eBay, don't buy it out of DJI, or you're going to be spending a lot of money. And that is pretty much it for me, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Oh yeah, it is windy today.